Hi everyone, my name is Ferlin Saison and I'll be the first reporter to discuss about BPO operation management. So to begin with, we have here the learning objectives. So first, we have here the overview of BPO operation management. Second is the operation management or what is operation management. Next is the components of operation management, and the last one we have here business process mapping and notation. And now let's talk about the overview of BPO and operation management. So, BPO and operation management together form a strategic framework that allows businesses to focus on their core operations while ensuring that all other processes are managed effectively and efficiently. This relationship is crucial for achieving operational excellence and overall business success. So, BPO and operation management is like a team working together and sharing specific goal, which is to help business to run smoothly and effectively. So, BPO decides what tasks to be outsourced and to whom, while operation management ensuring those tasks are done effectively and efficiently. So, now let's proceed to the definition of operation management. So, operation management concerned with designing, planning, checking, controlling of the process or operations of goods and services within the business. So, controlling of the production process involves the monitoring and managing the operations to ensure that they are running smoothly and efficiently. So this include tasks such as scheduling production activities, managing inventory levels, and monitoring quality controls. So operation management also concerned with meeting customers' requirements, and this involves understanding the needs and expectations of customers and aligning the production's process to meet those requirements. So this includes factors such as product quality, delivery time, and customer service. So I have here a real life examples to understand more about BPO and operation management. So let's say you are a housewife, and as a housewife you are expected to do chores such as cooking meals for the family and cleaning the house. So business process outsourcing is like hiring a gardener to take care of your garden while you are focusing on cleaning and cooking inside the house. So you are outsourcing and giving the responsibility to maintain your garden to someone else because they have the expertise and talent to maintain a garden. And also it allows you to focus on your main job, which is cooking and cleaning inside the house. So, operation management is all about the set of instructions you give to the gardener and all the checks you do to make sure that the garden is well maintained. It also involves in planning how the garden should look, setting standards like how the grass often to be cut, and checking the work of the garden to make sure that your requirements or standards are met. In conclusion, BPO is all about companies hiring a third-party provider to handle a certain task, while operation management is all about setting up, controlling, and checking whether the tasks are done by the service provider. But both are about getting tasks done effectively and efficiently to help a business succeed and run smoothly.
Good day everyone, my name is Shara S. Overa and today I will be discussing why operation management is important and also the 6 responsibilities in operation management. So why operation management is important? So operation management is important because proper operation management inspire productivity and efficiency during the production process, which in turn ensure that products and services are one of the highest quality. And it also important to note that management can hinder overall corporate progression and compromise security and accessibility of the services for the customers. So, we all know that operation management is very important to us because it is indispensable the success and growth in our industries. It also helps us effectively to manage, control, and supervise the goods and services for the people. So without operation management, the company or any organization can experience significant efficiency on their process. So it is also important to note that proper operation management can hinder overall corporate progression and compromise the security and accessibility for the customers. So we have here the 6 responsibilities in operation management. So the first is capacity planning. This type of planning involves determining the numbers of products and services that a company can distribute or sell on specific period. So capacity planning, this is a process of determining the production capacity needed by an organization to meet demand on its products or services. So it also involves assessing the maximum output that a business can produce in a given day using the existing resources and equipments. So for examples, for the capacity planning is an bakery shop. They are going to plan how many pies they're going to make or bake using they're going to plan on how many pies they're going to make or bake in a given day using the existing resources and equipments that they are available. So the next responsibilities is the inventory management. So inventory management, also known as supply chain management or inventory control. So this is the process of overseeing and controlling ordering, storage, and the use in the company. So this includes the raw materials and finished product. So for example of the inventory management is in a retail shop, in a retail store. So they're regularly monitoring the stock levels and analyzing the sales data. They also monitoring the finished product and they're also monitoring the finished products and equipments that they have been used in their store. So next is the product design. So product design, this involves creating a products or services that will give the company a competitive advantages in the marketplace. So the product design is the detailed planning phase of a project that sees the foundations. So it involves the outlining of the project objectives, timelines, and resources. So the primary goal of product design is to ensure all of the aspects of the project are thoroughly considered and planned for achieving desired outcomes. So the next responsibility is a project management. So project management, it is an operation manager will oversee any project related to a company's manufacturing process and inventory management. So this is the applications of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project the project activities to meet the project requirements. So it is involved planning, organizing, and overseeing the execution. So for example of the project management is a project manager will have a task with a team leading to develop a software product, and they are going to they begin to identifying the scope of the project. So the next responsibilities is the quality control. So quality control, also called quality assurance management, involves monitoring products and services. So the quality control is a process and procedures that ensures products or services meet specified quality standards and satisfy customer expectation. So it is also leading to a sustained success and competitive advantage in the marketplace. So for example of this is a food and drug manufacturing where um, quality control ensures that the product does not make a consumer sick. So uh, the company performs chemical and microbiological testing of the samples from the production line. So the last responsibility is the service design. So service design relates how it interacts with service providers and customers. So service design, it is an activity of planning and organizing people, infrastructure, communication, and material components of a service in order to improve its quality and the interaction between the service provider and its customers. So, for example of this is when a customer shops in online website, the first information will be showed up, and it should be the regions when the products can be delivered.
Good day, everyone. I am Aubrey Thesis and I'll be discussing the 12 components of operations management. So, first we have forecasting. This component pertains to the process of relying into historical data, facts, figures, and statistics in order to make decisions for production. For example, is the use of previous sales information in order to predict the future sales volume and to produce what only is needed. This is to avoid having too much excess inventory or too many shortages. Second, we have location strategies. This component of operations management involves selecting the right location for your organization. There are many factors to be considered in selecting the appropriate location. For example, the proximity and availability of certain materials or skilled laborers, and also the transportation costs. Next is maintenance. This component involves scheduling all of the regular maintenance checks and adjustments for the machineries and equipment. For example, the most common practice for maintenance is cleaning, inspecting, and functional tests for the machineries and equipment to ensure that they are working efficiently and if they will last longer. Also, it is for the safety of the workers in the area. Next is purchasing. This component pertains to ensuring that there are enough raw materials to cover up or to supply the incoming demand for products. Purchasing can be done through centralized strategy where there is a certain department in charge in buying all of the stuffs needed for production, or the centralized strategy where each and every department or branch is in charge for buying their own individual needs. Next, we have Total Quality Management or TQM. This is a strategy that is used to create a customer focused organization and involves improving all employee activities of the companies to meet customer requirements. For example, a company focuses on improving the process rather than the outcomes and enables organizations to have zero defects. Next, we have Materials Requirements Planning, or MRP. This component ensures that the company is receiving the right materials with the right quality and quantity on time in order to ensure that the production will be also completed on time. This also involves taking inventory of the items the company receives in order to check whether there are errors in the delivery. Next, we have quality. This component is very important to companies to conform to product specifications and to maintain having favorable relationship within the customers. Having good quality products usually entails that you are able to keep up with the customer demands and also for the customer satisfaction. The next component for operations management is called just in time. This component refers to scheduling all of the operations so that they can start and finish just in time or when really needed. This component is perfect for those small businesses that don't have much storage so they can start their operations and finish for when the delivery date is due or when it's really needed. Next component is process and system performance. This component is measured through examination of capacity utilization and production. So for example, a certain machine is expected to produce 100 items or goods in a week, but then this week they only produce 90 goods. So there must be wrong with the production and this that is needed to be fixed immediately. Next, we have the layout of facilities. This component ensures that the most optimal workflow is being done or used within the production or service facility. So, for example, a company that offers laundry services must ensure that the layout for washing to drying and ironing of the clothes must be done in an organized manner without unnecessary items in order to ensure a more efficient production or service process. The last component for operations management is inventory management. This component involves keeping track of the stock materials and items and ensuring that the company is carrying the right amount of materials that will be needed at the right time. This allows the company to have not too much shortage or too many excess inventory. This also enables the company to produce products whenever there are customer demands. And that would be all about the 12 components of operations management. This is Aubrey May Australia once again. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, this is Jamaica Sibomet, and for our next topic is all about business process mapping and notation, the BPMN. BPMN stands for Business Process Model and Notation, and it is a graphical representation for specifying business processes in a business process model. BPMN has its four basic element categories, and our first is the flow objects, second connecting objects, third is swim lanes, and lastly the artifacts. All these elements has its own core elements, and that will be discussed in this discussion. First, let's discuss what is flow objects. Flow objects are the main describing element within BPMN, and it consists of three core elements, namely events, activity, and gateway. An event is represented with a circle and denotes something that happens. And there are three different types of events, namely the task, intermediate, and an event. It start as act is a process trigger and indicated with a single narrow border and can be catched, so is shown with an open icon. Next is the intermediate events. An intermediate event represents something that happens between the start and end events and can throw or catch using solid or open icon as appropriate. Lastly is the end event. An end event represents the result of a process and is indicated with a single thick or bold border and can through, so is shown with a solid icon. The next core element under flow object is the activity. An activity is represented with a rounded corner rectangle and describes the kind of work which must be done. An activity is a generic term for work that a company performs. It can be a atomic or compound. So there are four different types of activity. First is the task. A task represents single unit of work that is not or cannot be broken down to a further level of business process detail. Then the next is the sub-process. A sub-process is used to hide or reveal additional levels of business process detail. And the third one is the transaction. It is a form of a sub-process where all contained activities must be treated as a whole. And lastly is the call activity. A call activity is a point of a process where a global process or a global task is reused. Then last core element under the flow object is the gateway. A gateway is represented with a diamond shape and determines forking and merging of paths depending on the situation expressed. So there are 7 different types of gateway. First is the exclusive. An exclusive is used to create alternative flows because only one of the paths can be taken. Second is the event-based. The event-based is the condition determining the path of a process based on an evaluated event. The third one is the parallel. A parallel is used to create a parallel path without determining any conditions. And the fourth is the inclusive. An inclusive is used to create alternative flows where all paths are evaluated. The fifth is the exclusive event-based. Is the event is being evaluated to determine which of the mutually exclusive paths can be taken. The sixth one is the complex. A complex is used to model complex synchronization behavior. And the last one is the parallel event-based. A parallel event-based, there is the 2 parallel processes are started based on an evaluated event, but there is no evaluation of events. So for you to be able to understand what I've been discussed, here is the example that I got from the internet. The company's software, a customer support. I know that if you are working in a BPO industry, you are very familiar with this process. So as you can see, there is a events here, activity and gateway. So here, as you can see, there's an account manager, the first level support and the second level support. So the start events is the question received from the customer. Then the activity is handle the question. Then going forward, the alternate path is the gateway can handle myself or not. If you can handle just by yourself, then directly explain the solution to the customer, then end of the process. Then if you can't handle it by yourself, then you need to the first level support, where he or she can help you in solving the question of the customer. But if still unfinished, he or she is needed to the second level support. Then if she can handle it then same process, explain the solution directly, then ends of the process. Then if he or she cannot still explain, and then the second level support comes in, and if unsure, if he or she is pretty sure, then he will directly explain the solution of the problem, and then that's the end of your process. And that's how the BPMN in the BPO industry works. And that's all for my part. Thank you all for listening.
Good morning, everyone. I am Giselle Ankitumakin, and I'll be discussing the continuation of Business Process Modeling Notation, or the BPMN 2.0. So, we have connections. When we say connections, these are used to connect flow objects and show the flow of the process. Then we have the flow objects. This represents the steps or tasks within a process. It helps to illustrate the sequence of activities and events in a process. There are three types of flow objects. I'll be discussing first the sequence flow. These are connecting objects that show the order in which flow objects will be executed. These represent a sequential flow of activities in a process. The best example of this is on creating a product. On creating a product, it should be processed step by step. And under this sequence flow, we have two types of it. First is the conditional flows. These are used to represent decision points in a process flow where the path to be taken depend on certain conditions. The second type of sequence flow is default flows. This represents the default path that will be taken in a process flow if none of the conditions at a decision gateway are met. These flows provide a fallback option when none of the specified conditions match, ensuring the flows continues without any interruption. So the second types of flow objects is the message flow. These represent as a communication between flow objects. This can show the exchange of information, request, or notification between different parts of a process. Example of this is the emails that we use every day, the notifications or alarms set between department or employee. And lastly, under the flow objects, we have the association flow. These are used to indicate a dependency or condition between elements in a process without implying a specific order or communication. It is the best example of this is a task. In this flow, one task cannot start until another task is completed. So it means that it cannot be go into next task without finishing the first task. Then we have swim lanes. When we say swim lanes, these are the visual mechanism of organizing, categorizing activities based on cross-functional flow charting. These are consist of two. First is the pool. When we say pool, this represents a participant in a business collaboration. It acts as a container of a full business process, and a process has to be fully contained within the pool. Example of this is in a service customer process. In an e-commerce company, there could be a separate pools like customer support team, the logistic teams, and the finance team, which these represent a different group within the company that is involved in the overall customer service process. Next is we have the lane. When we say lane, this represents as a sub-entities within these organizations and appear as a swim lanes inside the pool. The example of this as the continuation from the example of the pool, one lane in a lane within each pool could represent specific rules or responsibilities within that department. So it is just the continuation of the example from the pool. Then lastly, we have the artifacts. When we say artifacts, these allow the developers to bring some more information into the model or the diagram. There are three predefined artifacts. First is the data objects. When we say data objects, this represents information flowing through the process such as a business documents, emails, or letters. Then we have the data input. It is an external input from the entire process. Another example of data objects is when you purchase an item, quantity and size of these items represents as the customer's order information. Then we have the second predefined artifacts, which is the group. When we say group in IT BPMN, it is a visual container used in creating informal, arbitrary grouping for elements in a business process diagram. Example of this is in a project management process, a group could be used to show all tasks related to a specific project phase. And lastly, of the predefined artifacts is the annotation. When we say annotation, it is a note to a process, elements, or to the business process itself. Example of this is no, not technically an example, but annotation could be used to explain a specific decision point or highlight a key milestone. So before I end my discussion, let us go back to what is business process modeling notation. When we say business process modeling notation or the BPMN, it is a flowchart method that models the steps of a business process from end to end. It is a key business process management. It visually depicts a detailed sequence of business activities and information flows needed to complete a process. And that's all of our report. Thank you and God bless.